If you've ever taken an introductory linguistics class or just fell down a Wikipedia rabbit hole about dialects, you've probably run across a feature called invariant B, often habitual B. It's one of the most famous characteristics of African American English, or AAE. It's when a speaker uses the uninflected form of be instead of am, is, or are. For nearly 6 decades, textbooks have given this a more specific label with a more specific interpretation, habitual be. We've been taught that when someone says a sentence like, the eggs be soft, or most of the time they be up on the playground, the word be functions strictly as a grammatical aspect marker. Check out my other videos if you're not sure what aspect refers to, I'll link at the end. But the basic idea is it's not about when something occurs, but more the how. Habitual be tells the listener that the action isn't just happening right now, it happens habitually, over and over again as a recurring pattern. In fact, it might not be happening right now at all. He be at the barbershop doesn't attest that he's currently there. There's a different grammatical pattern for that. It says, he's usually there. And in fact, you're more likely to hear a sentence like, he always be at the barbershop. For more than 50 years, this was the undisputed linguistic consensus. But recently, groundbreaking research has completely disrupted this textbook definition. My co-authors and I are having to rewrite entire sections of our forthcoming descriptive grammar of Black English to incorporate these new findings. By the way, if you want to know more about that project, you can always sign up for updates and early access at www.languagejones.com/agobe, AGOBE for a grammar of Black English. So, in a paradigm-shifting 2019 doctoral dissertation at Yale University titled The Non-Aspectual Meaning of African American English, Aspectual Markers, linguist Dr. Alysia Harris revealed that invariant B has an overlooked, fascinating second function that has nothing to do with habits at all. Now, as early as the late 1960s, linguists working on Black English noticed that habituality doesn't cover everything, and B shows up in sentences where the habitual interpretation is strained or downright impossible. Bill LeBove notes sentences like, so you know it all don't be on her, it be half on me and half on her. John Boss cites examples like, nah, it ain't Leo though. They be the real troublemakers. Leo be the one to tell it like it is. Lisa Green has what she calls bicycle sentences after the example discussing bicycles, that some of them be big and some of them be small. The intended meaning is not that some bicycles are often but not always big. It's not telescoping bicycles. And Sammy Alim brings the classic Dr. Dre be the name.
Dr. Dre be the name, still running the games.
If you're new to the channel, I'm Dr. Taylor Jones. I've got a PhD in linguistics from the University of Pennsylvania, and on the channel, I discuss everything related to language, linguistics, language learning, and culture. If you're into those topics, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Today, we're looking at Alysia Harris's mind-blowing, new-ish account of invariant B that solves a theoretical problem linguists have been grappling with for more than half a century. Along the way, she demonstrated that as far as linguists are concerned, they don't think it be like it is, but it do. Around the time this dissertation was published, I was interviewed by Alzo Slade about work I co-authored on court reporters transcribing Black English wrong. He kept pushing back on habitual interpretations of the word be. It's been nagging at me for years, and this, I think, explains what he was getting at. Alzo, this episode is for you. This is Language Jones. I've been chipping away at debt for a while, and the part that always got me wasn't the payments. It was the not knowing whether I was actually making progress or how much longer it was going to take. This is Monarch. The feature I want to show you is the pay down goal. You connect your actual debt accounts, tell it what you're putting toward them, and it projects a real timeline for when they'll be gone. Same idea with save-up goals tied to your real accounts, like an emergency fund or a trip. Seeing the actual finish line on a chart changed how I feel about the whole thing. And it's not just the goals view. Every account I have, cards, checking, savings, investments, loans, sink in from over 13,000 institutions into one clean dashboard. Spending, net worth, recurring bills, all in one place. There's fixed versus flexible spending, so the budget bends instead of breaking, and AI-powered insights that explain what's going on in plain English. You can literally ask it questions about your money. It's private and ad-free, which I appreciate. You're the customer, not the product. It works on web and mobile. And it's not a bank. It doesn't move your money. It just gives you a clear view of what you've already got. Links in the description, and be sure to use my promo code Jones50 or scan the QR right here. If you're paying down debt or saving towards something, the timeline view alone is worth it. Unlike traditional accounts, Dr. Harris argues that B is not primarily an aspectual marker. Instead, it's a discourse-oriented particle that indexes a speaker's evidence, expectations, and evaluations. That's right, if you had evidentials on your Language Jones bingo card, leave me a comment if you think I should make Language Jones bingo cards. You'd be right. In fact, if we look closely at real linguistic data, we find sentences that completely break the old habitual rule. It's the old problem where linguists could find counter-evidence for our claims if any of us just went outside. Take a sentence like, John be the choir director. If B only meant habitually, that sentence wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. John isn't habitually the choir director on alternating Tuesdays, it's his permanent status, what linguists call an individual level predicate. Or consider a question like, how did the tests for math be hard as hell but the final be so easy? That's an inquiry about specific static historical events in the past, not a recurring habit. So if B isn't just marking a habit here, what exactly is it doing? Dr. Harris argues that invariant B is actually an epistemic-evidential marker. It carries what's called an evidential presupposition. Evidentiality is a grammatical feature found in many world languages where a speaker is structurally required to signal how they know the information that they're sharing. I'll probably do a whole video on it because it is fascinating. According to Dr. Harris's formal semantic account, invariant B requires the speaker to have some partial perceptual evidence on which to base their generalizations about normal states of affairs. Think about how mind-blowing this is. It shifts B from a dry tool that merely measures time to a sophisticated grammatical tool that measures epistemic authority and proof. When an AAE speaker uses invariant B, they're telling the hearer, I am making a claim based on my own direct physical observation of normal states of affairs. To see this system in action, we can look at how B enters into pragmatic competition with its unmarked counterparts, like the present progressive, the simple present, or the null copula, which is when you drop the verb entirely. Imagine a room full of people and one guy's visibly sweating and breathing heavily. In Black English, you can use the null copula and say, he tired. That is a statement of an event in progress, true of this exact present interval. He tired. But if you say, he'd be tired, you're deploying a marked alternative. Under Dr. Harris's model, you use B because you're drawing a conclusion based on partial perceptual evidence of how he normally behaves. The grammar gives the speaker a high-precision tool to signal that they are not just guessing. They have witnessed the pattern. He always be tired. So how do we end up with the habitual textbook definition for so long? Through basic principles of pragmatic blocking and conversational implicature. That's implying things. Implicature is its own thing that'll get a whole video soon, but if you're sitting here thinking, that sounds a lot like implying things, you'd be right. It's just a technical term for how we imply things. Because B forces this requirement of perceptual experiential evidence when it's used in neutral everyday contexts, it naturally implies habituality. Over time, linguists mistook that common conversational implicature for the core semantic meaning of the word. Linguists be people too. This discovery is a massive wake-up call for the field. For a long time, mainstream linguistic research tried so hard to prove that African American English was structured and rule-governed, which it is, that it rushed to force its features into familiar standard grammatical boxes like aspect. And not for nothing, it might be because of the motivation to support the Creole origins hypothesis. Dr. Harris states explicitly in her introduction that she's setting aside all the politics and just treating Black English like a normal language and analyzing it from that neutral starting point to see what emerges, to see what it do. By forcing it into a Creolist box for political reasons as part of a broader program of language valorization, we missed its true conceptual depth. Invariant B isn't just a quirky way to say usually. In fact, not only does the ing on the verb take care of that without B, but half the time it's got the habitual meaning, not a specific statistical claim, by the way. It actually shows up with the word usually. Instead, it's a complex built-in system for tracking truth, evidence, and speaker experience, allowing speakers to systematically cue the presence of significant evaluative and evidential information. Dialects like Black English are not simplified or broken versions of a standard language. They are complete, autonomous, grammatical systems, often carrying advanced semantic machinery that other dialects are completely missing. But if you watch my channel, you already knew that. If you want to know more about how linguists analyze this stuff starting from scratch, you can sign up for the waitlist and for updates on my digital Intro to Linguistics at www.languagejones.com/blueprint. I assume you already signed up for updates on the grammar. What other dialect features do you think are widely misunderstood by the mainstream? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep expanding your linguistic horizons. If you like what I be doing with the channel, you can always support it on YouTube with super thanks or over on Patreon at patreon.com/languagejones. Please leave a comment. They are great for the algorithm. And subscribe already. Come on. Until next time, happy learning.